It's time to dive more back into the AFC South talk here. We covered the Texans, we covered the Jaguars, but now it is time to cover the Indianapolis Colts here. The Indianapolis Colts, they made some off-season moves. Phillip Rivers has retired. They traded off Jacoby Brissett, and they brought in a top 10 quarterback in Carson Wentz to lead them to the promised land this season. So, Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first right off the bat here. What's the record that you have for the Indianapolis Colts in the 2021 season?
So for the Indianapolis Colts, I've got them at 13-4, the best team in this division by far. I know that it's Carson Wentz that they brought over, and I'm not a huge believer in Carson Wentz, but I am a huge believer in the Indianapolis Colts. The best offensive line in football, a top 5 defense in football, great wide receiver core, good running backs. Like, it was the perfect storm for Carson Wentz to return to his form of sorry, something just popped up on my screen. It's a perfect storm for him to return to his MVP form that he had a couple years back in Philadelphia. So I think that's going to be a good thing, and I think that they're going to win this division hands down by a lot, and they go 13-4 this season.
You said 13-4. That's kind of surprising to me since you have been so down on Carson Wentz all off season. And if I remember correctly, you said that this was a horrible move by the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yeah, I didn't say it was a horrible move. I just said that it was a perfect storm for Carson Wentz. Like, for me, they have better options out there? Yes. If I was them, I would have went all in on Deshaun Watson, legal troubles or not. But even before his legal troubles began, they didn't go after him. They went and got Carson Wentz.
Right.
But I mean, there were better options out there for sure. But this team is so good that it really, I mean, you could have implemented just about any quarterback there and they would have succeeded. I really thought that even if you put Mitch Trubisky in with this team, that they would have been just as good. This team is that good.
So 13-4 here, but like so Combs, what game jumps off the schedule? Must see TV, must watch, must win type of thing.
Yeah, a lot of them. I'm really looking forward to the Week 2 matchup though against the Rams. I really want to see them play Baltimore as well, and I really like to see them against Tampa Bay and Buffalo because they play them two back-to-back in weeks 11 and 12. But I think that this Rams matchup is going to be the game that gives them the confidence to really be as good as they're going to be.
All right, so you had them going 13-4 on the season. Tori, what do you have the Colts going on this season?
I have them going 9-8 this year.
Wow.
I just don't. They took a huge step back with Carson Wentz versus Phillip Rivers. This is not going to be as good a team. No.
You took a huge step back with Carson Wentz over Phillip Rivers?
Yes.
Did you watch Phillip Rivers throw the ball last year? It hurt me.
Did you watch football last year? To hell with Carson. Did you watch Phillip? Did you watch football?
Sorry, Phillip Rivers. My bad.
Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback. He has proven it time and time again. I know a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, okay, there was the stuff with Doug Peterson. He hasn't been good since Frank Reich left and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't see it. I really do not see it with this team. And I want to pull for them like no other. I just can't pull for Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz pulls that team down.
So you're saying 9-8. So what game pops off on? I got the schedule for you here.
So Brandon kind of stole my thunder on the Rams game. So I'm actually going to go a little bit later in the season, and I'm going to go with that Buccaneers game. That is kind of going to be their make or break game. It's a home game. I think at that point they'll probably be battling. They're going to be battling for the division crown. I don't think this division is that great. And I think that's going to be kind of the game that decides whether or not they win the division.
That's the only home game I have them losing.
So, Tori, do you have them winning that game versus the Bucs?
I do not have them winning that game versus the Bucs.
Combs, what about that Week 2 matchup? Do you have them beating the Rams?
I do.
You have them beating the Rams. So what were you saying before I interrupted? I'm sorry.
I said at least Tori had one smart comment in this segment.
Right.
because he said that they're going to lose to the Bucks. The Bucks are a better team, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks are the Bucks. They still got Tom Brady. They're bringing back everybody. They're going to be a juggernaut team. But this, I mean, look, they're better than the Seahawks. They're better than everybody in their division. They're better than the Dolphins. Like, they're better than the Jets. They don't have a very tough schedule outside of having Buffalo and Tampa Bay and Arizona. Those are their 3 toughest games, and yeah, I have them losing all 3 of them. So, I mean, this team's schedule is not very hard. They're better than everybody in their division. This is going to be a cakewalk for this team.
Right. So as you are right, as their schedule isn't very, very tough, there are a few games that jump off the screen at me. That's week 5, Baltimore. Week 3, they're on the road to Tennessee, and then they play the Bills and the Bucks. So I'm not worried about the Titans because King Henry's run is over. I'm not worried about the Ravens because they don't play well in January. Let's just be honest. But that week 11 game, the Buffalo Bills, when they travel to Bills Mafia, I think this is a measuring stick for this is a measuring stick for both teams, for the Bills and the Colts. So, but more so for the Colts, just because if they can go into Buffalo, New York, and even hang with the Bills, I'm talking 17-13, 17-14, that type of score, I think the Colts are a Super Bowl bound team if they can just hang with the Bills. Now, if they get blown out, I still think they're a good team. I have them going 11-6, 4-2 in the division, but they just aren't quite there yet. So I think that Week 11 matchup is huge for me.
Yeah, I have them sweeping the division. I mean,
Really? Okay.
yeah, I don't have them losing a game in the division. I have them going 6-0, and the only games I have them losing are to San Francisco, Tampa, Buffalo, and Arizona. Like, those are the only games I have them losing. I have them beating the Rams just because it's at home.
Yeah. Wow.
So
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
They're better than Baltimore. They've got a better offensive line than Baltimore. They got a better defense than Baltimore. They're a better team than the Baltimore Ravens are. This team, and they're so far above anybody else in the division, and that includes Tennessee. I know people are high on Tennessee. I'm not, but this team is very good, and they don't have a very tough schedule outside of the 4 games that I mentioned.
So Luke G brings up a comment here saying that the Colts could beat the Bucks if they get to Brady. I mean, isn't that the formula for like every team though? If you get to Tom Brady, you're going to beat the Bucks.
Yeah, but the problem is you can get to Tom Brady all you want. I mean, he showed that in the playoffs. I mean, again, we've brought this up many a times. The guy's 5-0 when he throws 3 or more interceptions in the playoffs.
Yeah, is that stupid?
This guy, you can get to Tom Brady.
Ridiculous.
You can get to Tom Brady all you want, but that doesn't mean you're going to beat Tom Brady. That Bucks team is going to be rolling by the time they get to go to Indy. And again, that's the only home game I have Indy losing.
Yeah.
Look, the AFC is deep. The AFC is really deep and really good. I have a lot of wins in the AFC. But the Bucks are that team, one of the few NFC teams that I could see, absolutely winning a Super Bowl.
So, Tori, you do have the Colts going 9-8 on the season. However, there's always that standout player on the team each and every year. Who's that standout player for the Colts this season?
Good old JT23, Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Second year in the offense. He started to come on towards the end of last year. I know there's a lot of concern with all the carries that he had while he was in college. And honestly, I'd be concerned with that as well. But I think this is his second year in that offense. It's like I said, his role did nothing but expand last year. So I think this is kind of the year he kind of shows what kind of multi-dimensional back he is.
And they also have help in the backfield with Mac. He should be back this season as well. So Combs,
I think Matt, didn't they get rid of Mac?
He is still listed on the roster, and I believe he has 3 years left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they still have Mac.
Yeah. So Combs, who is your Colts MVP for the season?
So, I really want to go Naheem Hines because I think Naheem Hines having a good, solid season again behind Jonathan Taylor will allow Jonathan Taylor to not take as many snaps and stay healthy. I know we just listened to Tori talk about Jonathan Taylor and all the snaps that he took in college and how it's a concern. They got to keep him fresh. They got to keep him healthy. I want to go Naheem Hines here, but I just can't look away from Quiddy Pie. Quiddy Pie is a beast. And I think he is going to be a force to be reckoned with on the defensive line, and he is going to be their MVP this season.
Yeah, and I want to stick on the offensive side as well, but I'm going to go receiver core here, and I'm going to go Michael Pittman Jr. I think Michael Pittman Jr. has a huge year. T.Y. Hilton, yes, he is aging, but he still has that ability to get open and demand double teams. And Michael Pittman Jr. is going to kind of be flying underneath the radar until about week 12, and people are like, oh, maybe we should actually guard this guy, but by then it is too late, and he is having an MVP caliber season for the team. So Combs 13-3, obviously playoff bound, dude, and they winning the division. Do they make some noise in the playoffs in your eyes?
I think they do. I think this is a team that is definitely going to compete for a first round bye, but I also think that it's a team that has the ability to beat everybody else in the AFC as well. I think that this is a team that, even though I didn't have them going, to the Super Bowl this year, as a little spoiler there, I don't have the Colts in the Super Bowl, but I think that they are capable of getting there. I would not be surprised if they're in the AFC title game this season.